So I asked a question about my previous flip faces video, and the answer I received gave me answers that required that I dissect a strange node graph for days in an attempt to understand it. So as a result, we're just going to get in here and reassemble that same node graph so that you can attempt to understand it, even though I do not. So we will just jump in our node graph and add a cube, a subdivide, and let's bring in our buddy for each. Let's grab these two and we'll just chunk them out there. And we'll do for each face. And jumping out, we'll go with a domain size. And this will give us the count of our edges. And inside of this, we want to have a repeat. So really getting advanced here, but you have no idea. So for this thing, we just need to connect the geometry over to the other side. It doesn't matter, but we will need to add two inputs here for vectors. So we'll just add an input and we'll add another input, and both of these can be vectors. And I think I actually set that on the wrong area. Yes, I always do that, my mistake. So we want to select this, we want to make sure we're under node. And then here, we can set these as vectors. Alright, one for axis and one for position. And for reasons I don't understand, we'll set that to -100. And we'll plug up our edge count to our iterations. And for our geometry, we don't have to really plug anything up there. But out of our iterations, we want to add a sample index. And we'll Control-Shift-D duplicate this a couple of times. And we'll Control-Shift-D duplicate one more time, and we'll set these to be vectors. And what we want is information on the edge vertices. Position 1, position 2, and for this one, the vector, we want the position itself. So we have the position of the edge, we have the vert at the beginning and the end of each edge, and we can go ahead and collapse these just to take up less space. Bring these down because we have a lot more to add. It gets quite complicated, but this is just to get to a result so I can jump to another result. Nodes just be like that. So with these two, we of course want to do my least favorite thing in the world, and that's a little bit of vector mass. So we'll subtract them. We'll add a point so that way we can at least see what the heck we're doing, right? Because we're just working inside of a graph, creating a system, and there's no visualization of exactly what's going on here. So, and that's what I was saying when I was dissecting. I was like, man, I have no idea how to even dissect this sort of information. For this one, we'll put a separate X, Y, Z, and out of here, we'll put a greater than. We'll set this to be just normal, but we also want to pull out the position. Also get separate X, Y, Z, and only on the X, we're using this as a threshold for a greater than. And this should give us, I should be using the math version is what it is. Alright, and then once we connect this, we can then bring in the switches. So have this switch, and we'll connect this up to the true. And then on the false side, we'll just pull out of the 000, which actually this time I kind of get what they're going for here, even though I don't like it. We'll shift duplicate it, and good thing it didn't hot connect to this thing. That's always a problem with these nodes for me. So for this one, we want to go ahead and grab the position, and we'll connect it up to the false. And then for the sample index over here, we'll connect that to the true. So basically we're swapping between this as our position and this. And we are connecting this to the output axis and position. And these can now be collapsed down. So I've been trying to figure out a way to make this a visual adventure to kind of show like how something like this would be put together. But I see that it is something that, you know, I'm going to have to spend an inordinate amount of time to continue to dissect. So for this, we will use a vector math normalize because we need to normalize the vector. If you ask me why with a gun to my head, I'll just ask you to pull the trigger. So we'll use a axis angle to rotation, a node that I have never used before. And these will be connecting up to a group that we'll be creating in just a moment. And the other output will also be connecting to something that we have yet to create. So we're basically setting up here with the things that we need. You know, we're just dropping off our points. But let's take a look at this and see what we're missing. And we're not missing anything. So we are doing pretty good at rebuilding this graph, but we'll be using points and just kind of going through and dissecting this to try to give a better idea. But you know, right now we're just kind of speed running through it just to get through the boring part, because really this is to get to making a tool out of the idea. And I realized that just to have the rotation not be ridiculous, that this is what it takes. So we want to grab the element from this side and connect it all the way to the other side. And also here we will put a transform geometry, which I never use. We'll set it to be matrix, which is the way that I never use it. But I've started to realize that there's a difference between transform geometry and set position that I'm beginning to understand. So now we get to the next part where we create this group. So let's bring this out also to our reroute. So we have all three of these. We don't need the green handle, but we can just grab these and just press Ctrl-G, and now we are inside our custom group. So with that, let us get to work. We'll just move everything over. Probably easier if we do it that way. Alright. So with this one, we'll connect to a combine transform. Can't spell today. I stand by the need for there to be nodes at the top that are just hot suggestions. It was something that I wanted before Blender kind of changed what they had going on. So with our secondary input, we'll connect that up to our rotation. We'll need to go and invert the matrix for reasons I don't understand. If you ask me, I would say I do not know. And so we will also get in here multiply matrices, which I was spending every morning just like dissecting a little bit more about nodes every day, just spending a node to be obsessed with. And I look forward to trying to understand these matrices, because I ask questions about it and I get answers, and then I don't understand the answers. And so I mean, I realize I could continue to ask questions, but it's diminishing returns because I need to probably read a math book or something. So in the end, we now have our graph set up. So what is going on here, I could not tell you, but this is what is required in order for me to basically rotate all of the faces on their individual origins. So if we pull out of this, we can pull out of this, sorry, inappropriate. So let us pull this out, and we will name this pivot rotation. And over the course of doing this, we were discussing alternative ways it could be approached that were even simpler, and those resulted in also complex solutions that maybe also are worthy of being explored. So now we have everything connected, and if we turn the rotation, we should basically be able to see it begin to rotate our faces. So what we need to do is actually connect our axis up to the right area, which is all the way out. In fact, this was the part I had disagreements with. In the result that I received, I had got it connected to the group input so that it was a degree that you cranked all the way to the end. But you know, I don't even see how this is being split. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So let's see for each phase, and then we're not calculating with the geometry at all, except it is coming out the other side and going somewhere, but it's not going anywhere. All right. Okay, sorry. There's a lot of connections I did not make because I was being lazy. So we need to connect up our element to our sample index. We also need to let's see, just taking a moment, double checking all our connections here. We're so willy-nilly before. We do have our iteration connected up, so that way it runs it 4 times. And really there's nothing we could even see in here because it's inside of something that isn't receiving geometry. So let's jump back over to the other side and attempt it. And we are now getting somewhere, but we aren't getting the intended result. So maybe a few more subdivisions. Alt-V, wireframe. Alright, we definitely have enough subdivisions, but we probably want to maybe split the edges. And that's not helping either. Alright. I'll need to double check and examine it. Maybe I've cursed my graph with the way that I put it together in such an inorganic manner. So we have our position. We're sampling at. And also I think these are supposed to be set to edge is where I'm also going wrong. But let me double check. And we pull it again, and it's like a Tetris game that just is not working out. So one moment while I give it a moment of self-reflection. Alright, also this wasn't connected up properly. You just be connecting nodes. You never know if you have made the wrong connection. False all the way back. Top one. False all the way back. And there we go. Now we have each of the faces rotating individually. Just showing how important it is. So I wanted something that was a lot simpler than what we're looking at here. I mean, in the end, this is supposed to be a big group because we got to use this to turn this into not only a modifier, but basically like a little tool, because I mean, it'd just be cool to rotate the tools. I mean, really my goal is to open these little doors and launch a missile. But I mean, before launching a missile, I want to see its flight path. And I want to see its flight path extruded out like a spirally tree of noise, you know, so that way you can kind of preemptively see what's happening. It would look fun, it would look trippy, at least to me. So now that we have this, I want to map this maybe to radians. You know me, I'm a big fan of mixes, and so our angle here, we'll just change that over to be just a value between 0 and 1. Alright, that's the wrong way. Always negative 90 with me for some reason. Alright, now let us test it. Alright, and we don't want negative 1. Why is it letting us go negative on the angle? There we go. So now we want this to happen to the faces individually, which is where we have to now begin using our own brains again. So this is the part that I had solved for me. All right, full credit to Loof where it's due. You know, my own Ukrainian mathematician. I asked him so many stupid questions about this, and I'm sure I frustrated him. All right, so now I need this to happen over the course of each face. They need to rotate individually. So, you know what we could do is multiply by index. Let's try that. Alright, that is not the index that I'm supposed to be talking about, am I? And we want to do multiply, but how much do we want to multiply? Well, let's maybe calm this down. Alright, and I think I see it happening over the course of it. You know, probably give us the answer would be maybe a power. But no, let's try multiply. Alright, so we want to take this and map the range, so let's get rid of that. Over the course of this. And we probably could place it differently in the graph to give us a better part. And also this part is completely unrehearsed. I did not plan on actually accomplishing duplicating the graph within minutes. Alright, we're just playing with values. Alright, so we do have index control, but we need it more gradual. We could use the max of this instead of just the current value. I mean the max of this, which will tell us how many faces to map it to. Let's try that. Statistic. And we don't want to connect it there. And let's bring this. Just making sure. And yeah, we might have tried something silly there. Alright, so I'm still sitting here figuring this thing out. Deleted my previous thing. In fact, I'll delete it again because, you know, let's figure it out together. Why not? You know, that's the whole point, right? Is to figure it out. I was about to pause it. Figure it out. By figure it out, I mean about to ask a bunch of questions, have it figured out. No, I'm kidding. But hey, sometimes I need the answer. So, you know, I started off just asking this thing, you know, what's the domain size? We got the face count. You know, we'll just put that on a reroute. Drag this over here. So I know that I want to map map these on the index to basically rotate gradually. But I'm looking at this, I'm like, what kind of sorting is this? Maybe I'm asking the wrong questions. So we set this to 0, let's see. I should add the option for attribute text to be in our Alt-V menu, at least on a toggle or something. Just since it's, why am I adding a viewer? I need to add an index, sorry. And we just want to see the index of each face connected to final results. Yeah. So this grid is 0, 1, 2. Hey, when you see the numbers on it, really explains the state of things. You know, state of this country. It's like, why is this grid in such bad shape? I saw in another example, Loof sort elements using position on the gradient, and you know, I'm feeling confident. I want to try that. Okay, we're already getting results. All right. Like, I've just been studying everyone's notes. Like, I hate that it just gets further and further away. All right. So because it's on the X, 1, 2, 3, 0. All right, let's try it on the Y. Alright. Demystified. Alright. So we want the first one to be 0. We want the last one to be pretty flipped, if you know what I mean. And also make sure that that is set to the right number. Gotta double check, because these rotations aren't looking exactly the way that I need them to look. So we got our index, and oh no, they're great. They're rotating precisely the way they need to. My mistake. See, I would have let's see, we'll try terradians. Oh, it's not like that no more. Let's put a new one. See, if we wanted it to be very heavy-handed like so, and I just don't like the values to be that way, so that's why I always use the mixed value. It's just because I'm lazy. It's not like a great trick or anything. I just see two states, like a video game. The state I need and the state I don't. And maybe some states in between. That's why I'm so in love with the map range. Like when Blender has the vector curve now, which, you know, to me it's like the histogram scan in some ways. Alright, we probably want there. There we go. We just want the first one to also lift up, you know, despite being the 0. All right, I like what I'm seeing. I don't know why I need them to be gradual anyways. In the end, they'll all be equal. It's just fun to see them kind of offset Let's bring that viewer back and take a look at this. I'm just going to try to be funny. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just gotta know, you know. All right, we'll go back to what we were doing. Sorry, just had to sidetrack and be weird. And we're doing it just along the X. That way. All right, so we connect our cube back. And things have gotten serious. Let's put our plane back, and let's put this back through that. I get scared of all the numbers at once. All right. They're now flapping out. And let's try this on a sort Z. Maybe we can make those at the bottom flap to least. And sure enough, we got them flapping just the way we want them to. All right, and that also means that we can get in here and, you know, do something weird like, I don't know, math and noise, and really randomize it. You know me, I'm a simple man. I like animating things, so, or basic animation. I'm trying to get more advanced. I don't want to be so basic that all I'm doing is plugging up this to the frame. Like a caveman, Ooga Ooga found fire. Found fire. We'll take home Ooga Ooga. Sorry, I've been saying Ooga Ooga a lot lately. It's really been a caveman on that caveman diet. All right, so let's lower the scale. I just want to look at the indexes just because I know that this thing is probably going insane. We'll Control H to hide the one that we don't want. And let's look at this on the face. Sure enough, its numbers changing all the time. That's not healthy. All right. And we're just getting weird with this. Just kind of, I guess, celebrating that we've successfully put this thing together. Shouldn't have even taken half an hour. We're just really getting weird with this. So let us bring this back to Earth, where we had a Z. And all I wanted was for the first one to not rotate as much as the last one. And so now we have these flapping out. So now that we have this, what can we do with it? Well, I want to basically make these launch missiles, right? So this is like the first step. And really the whole purpose of this whole video is to make a solution that works on like any shape, because the first one was done on like a box top. And so if I brought in like a icosphere, it didn't work. And I hated that. And so that part always haunted me. And now we have something that, you know, we can use on anything. We can just have anything just flap open, and you know that's kind of cool, right? This little quest. So continuing on, now that we have this system that we can send in here, and we can rotate it. In fact, we don't need this anymore. We have confirmed that this is now successful. You know, we can actually keep a lot of what we have here. Alright, perfect. So now we want to turn this into some sort of group, so we don't have to look at it anymore. And I'm just putting a few redirects so that way I can grab everything, press Control G, and I don't even know what we'd name this. And what do we have on the outside that's so important? Okay, no, it's connecting to the angle. Alright. So let's do that again. Got distracted by this song and its Halloween theme. Earning it a 5. I'm always rating music, so sometimes you'll see me leave the screen to either examine notes or to rate music. Can't stop rating music. Input, we'll just call this angle. Geometry. And because it's this now, we don't have to think about it as much. In fact, since it's kind of important, I mean, I might revisit this as I continue to dissect this graph more and more, but now that we have this, we'll always be able to just get in here and just add a piece of geometry. In fact, I've marked it as an asset. We should make the angle output where it can't go 0 and 1. Alright. So yeah, we'll always have that. And I'll mark it as asset, so if we have this saved in a directory where assets are also marked, we'll be able to pull it up all the time and have it in our Shift-A menu, which can be handy. And then all of this is just stuff that we're just doing at the beginning just to be weird. In fact, the cats are upon me, which means it is their time for me to fulfill their obligation. In fact, you know, I guess we can get weird with it now. And the only way I know how. Alright, maybe we don't want it there. And it's crazy that we have to, let's try this again. Nope. Alright. So we have to have this connected, and then we would want to math and then noise into it. Which also invalidates it. Alright. Does it give us a dialog? This node input does not support fields. Float field based on input. Alright, so alright, I'll have to come back to that, but let us continue on to the next thing. And this is just for us to rotate a particular piece of geometry. But what else can we do with a particular piece of geometry? Let's go back to a cube, we'll simplify it, we'll get rid of this, and you know, we probably have to go inside of this and continue to do more work, actually, is what I'm thinking now. Because, you know, we have that individual face. And where do we have an individual face? Right here. So we want to extrude, you know, the old basics, right? And just trying to get rid of this display. And probably before we do that, we probably want to do an extrude, a cancel, a scale, scale element. Sorry, type in everything except what I'm supposed to. Just want to scale that in ever so slightly, and then from here grab that, perform our extrusion like so, so we get that, and then after the fact we'll be able to adjust that. So let's just do it now. We'll call this one offset. And we'll call this one depth. In lowercase letters because it's cuter. And if we come out of here, we can mess with our depth, but we can't while we're inside the group. Kind of sucks. I think this is where the controls thing would come in that I saw Arendelle use on his videos. In fact, I wonder if I could put a group in a group and then use its group. No, that won't work. And what do we even name this thing? I think it's going to be in face flipper. That's why it's not in this on its own list. All right, let's just get back to work. So now we have that. What we want to do is this, separate elements, and we want to separate this. So this one chooses how thick the piece is, and from here we'll join, giving us that, and then we could do a merge, not that merge, just in case. You know, since we have it so isolated, it'll be a great time for us to do that. Let's bring up another join. And let's just join them together, giving us that, except we want to maybe scale it like so. So now that we think about this, is what we're doing with each face. And then we're sending it on to do all this stuff. And then the thing that we're needing to rotate is no longer this element. The thing we need to rotate is now this element. But can one just plug it up there? Let's see what that looks like. That's where we're at so far. One of the things I like about nodes is it forcing me to think, because I'll be thinking about this stuff all day. I'll be running and I'll be thinking, I'll be taking out the trash. I won't be taking out the trash. My girlfriend will get mad at me for saying that. She always takes out the trash. But if I happen to take out the trash, you know. Oh yeah, So here we now have it transforming. And let's see, this is the piece that we're joining. So we don't even need that anymore. We need that. Let's bring this down. Put a few redirects in here. Alright. And now we see, how did we do? Well, our pivot is slightly off. Can we get that right? Can we get it right? Just kidding. Of course we can. So, once we scale all the elements, actually right here where we do the separate, this is where we need to send it in right here. So let's try that. Scary stuff. It's like brain surgery, which I would not be good at. You know, you'd go in a man, you'd come out a monkey. You would not be a monkey when you went in. That's the thing. That's the problem. Alright, so now we can adjust our offset. And we can give this a little more depth. Alright, they're just clipping a little bit. Overthinking it, but now we have this part happening. So now I come back and I'll be talking about scale a ton and how to get missiles to fit inside of these boxes and then to launch out of them. But it's been an adventure. But I see something at the end of the tunnel. This has just been a fun example to just understand more about just wondering geometry nodes is just kind of what's possible with everything changing. And as you can see, you know, more and more just is possible. And I'm just only scratching the surface because I'm an idiot. I'm having to ask for help every step of the way. But I could see why a man would certainly want to run from these nodes. But I say that as we now at the end look at our intended result. That's what we wanted. We wanted a bunch of little doors opening. We also wanted it to work independent of what kind of surface it was. So now we have that. So hey, it's like Christmas. We just won't talk about what's happening inside of that thing. You know, a lot's happening. But we don't have to talk about that. Instead, we can revel in the victory of now being able to open a bunch of little trapdoors all over a surface. And it won't choose the wrong angle by accident. I was so obsessed with it choosing the right angle in between that the solution is hyper-focused on that part. I assume, because I kept talking about it's like, how do I get it to stop choosing the center of a point but rotate it along this edge? How do you set that? But for every single face uniquely, and you see that in this example there's no problem. So with that, I can wrap up this video and I'll be back in the next one. Alright, and back again. And so continuing on this, I wanted to show one more alternative solution for this. So we'll save the file, and I'm just going to jump this forward one iteration, just because it'll be a lot easier. And we're just going to jump inside Face Flipper, and make some what I would call massive changes. So let's grab everything inside of here, and we're just going to delete it. So we basically have gutted out what was going on. So previously we were using a repeat. This time we are going to just, let's see, this is the one that gives us our single face, which is what we'll be dealing with each iteration. And we want to capture the attribute of the edge. And what are we capturing? The position, of course. So probably deleted actually too many nodes. Right now it's 3 in the morning, which is when I do my best node recreations. Separate, and we want to separate the X channel and put that into a sort elements under the sort weight, and then we'll plug up our geometry here. We'll change this over to edge, and from here we just want to sample the index 3 times. In fact, let us set this to be what we need it to be, and then we duplicate it. Otherwise we are duplicating the work we have to do as well. So edge vertices is like a strange name. I still find it unusual to remember it and to recall it, so that one's going to take a moment, and we'll connect up a position to our third one. From here, this is just stuff that's dealing with our angle, so we will just use a couple of redirects to place that out of the way. And look, we already had one already on screen. Alright, we'll just grab these, bring them over, just doing a little bit of tidying. It's the eternal battle of life. From here we'll grab this and connect it to a math node. Change this over to subtract, and we'll subtract 1. Then we're going to plug this into the index of all of them. And that should set us up there. So from here, we want to bring this out to a vector math. And the reason that I came back to do this is just to see if this worked, because I was asking, like, hey, is there a simpler way? It's like, yeah, this is the simpler way. And then we connect this one here, and now we have the alternative solution in place. So this one would be fun for us to go through and actually examine what is going on. So let's back out and let's connect our cube. The cube's been good to us. Maybe subdivide it a little bit. There we go. So we're able to open and close all the faces. In fact, I've been so obsessed with this that, never mind, but I've been super obsessed with just doing this. I figured that it would be super easy with geometry nodes, and I'm finding out that to open all the faces, it's actually not as easy as I thought it was. Or maybe I got to get it together, you know. I got to get math that you got to get thinking. I was reading the big book of nodes all day yesterday. I think I learned nothing. I'll have to reread it again. Alright, so what else was I going to do here? Oh yes, sorry. We're going to see what was happening. So let's just do a join geometry. We'll connect this here. And actually, let's do that inside. So something like that. And now we are just looking at one little assembly. And then we could just close it. Just kind of see what we got going on. So what I want to do is get a point. We were also talking about using gizmo arrows, but point is easier. If I start using gizmo arrows, probably inside of a for each, it might get weird. So let's just stay on track. So we're just looking at where everything's ending up with this. So once we subtract the position 1 and position 2, It starts with this and that, and subtracting it gives us something a little bit out of the way. But I guess that's where we take the axis angle and turn it to rotation, which gives us basically the rotation that's needed. So yeah, I'll have to ask a few more questions about this particular solution, but I want to end it at least going in and attempting it and just talking about what we're doing here. So I do see that, you know, we are getting our, let's see, maybe we can go back a little further. Maybe to here. Nope. Let's go back all the way to here. Alright, and that's the original shape. Alright, I went off on a tangent. But in any case, we have our goal, and we see that it could be accomplished even easier than having to use the repeat zone. But it is fun to see alternate solutions also in place. So I will just wrap it there for now, and see you guys in the next video. In between these videos, I'm watching videos about vector math and linear algebra, but let's get back to this. So I made a change between this video and the last one. So what I'll do is save this one and then revert it, so that way we can do it again. So let's just put an A at the end. These files are, of course, for the patrons whenever I give the files to them. And let us Control-Shift-O, and we're going to just open where we left off. So here we are. And basically, whenever we turn the angle, it opens all of them. But I want something a little more gradual, because, I mean, that's my obsession, right? It's animating over ID. So in the end, I was like, I should at least be able to do that. So we're just going to cut there. And of course we got our slider, and let's just bring a map range. The only note I understand, by the way. And let's also pull off of this and do a statistic, because we need the maximum amount of indexes for the face. I was going to collapse it, but that would collapse all the outputs too, because I haven't started using them yet. So let's connect this one here, and let's grab the index and bring it all the way down to here. And let's see what we're dealing with. And it looks like we might just get lucky. So from 0 to 96, or basically what is the max? And I don't like that, so let's bring out another map range, and let's take from here to the max and map it from 0 to 1, and this should do it actually. There we go. And I just want it to happen from 0 to 1, instead of having to pull the slider unimaginable distances. And we're making some progress. So now we have this alternative system happening that allows us to pull that. So let us connect this to a switch. I was about to make a mistake. We'll connect this to the switch whenever it is on true. And let's bring up a group input. And for this, we'll call this gradual. And so basically, whenever this is set to true, it will use our gradual. Let's see, what am I doing wrong here? Alright, we'll connect this one to the factor. no, that can't be correct. What we want to do is actually go from here to value, so that way we have only one slider controlling this whole shebang. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for just a moment. And if we come out, we can also take gradual and connect it here, and its name's already there. So basically by unchecking it, we can now have this happen gradually. And then we still have them open all at once, just like we had before. So just wanted to do that at the end, just end it on a happier note, because I'm over here asking so many questions about this graph, and it's like, yeah, understanding of linear algebra will definitely help you. So I'm trying to get that understanding. That'll be a Christmas present to myself, understanding a little bit more math. I've actually had a lot of situations in life where I've gotten in trouble at work for trying to learn math because I've never been good at it, and I've always tried to learn it. And another opportunity in life where I would go and tell my younger self, math, you need math, that class you slept in, so good. There's no better class to sleep in than math. Actually, history, you can sleep in history, so good. I mean, look, this is not turning into a good video if I'm over here endorsing sleeping in class, but I'm saying don't sleep in class. I'm saying go back in time and learn damn math, or else you will regret it. But I am loving this result. This result is the benefit of knowing just a little bit more math. Like, I mean, does he look like a bitch? All right, that's what my woman asks whenever I show her this. That's the joke to her, is I'm totally making a clue game. It's like, no, it's like missiles. Like the whole world's on edge. I want to shoot missiles, and you know, we must be. I was going to make an Iran joke, but you know, look, one of our missile bays isn't opening, so we have to deal with that, right? So how do we deal with that? Well, I'm going to go in here and put some negative numbers on it. Maybe this one. Nope. Actually, we should think about this. I'm thinking that this one needs a -1 on it. No. Was that all it needed? We made that door so flippant now. So we should make up our mind. Are we adding one or taking away one? Also, why is it not working? That is the question we should be asking. All right, so we'll mute the node and just take a look. So we're opening all the way to the final one, which isn't making it. Why is it not making it? Is it due to the max? Let's try adding. Alright, I think we got it. We totally do not have it. Uh-oh. Time for more math lessons. Just kidding. Just making a little early morning humor before I go out and probably kill myself running. What if we give it to the ID? And the tutorial is over. Just like that. We just subtract 1 from the ID and everything is good to go, except it is not good to go. How much do we need to take away? -2? No. Also, we are having to do a little bit of number fandangling to get this thing to work. Alright, let's look at what we have here. Everything is almost good, except for this one. Now let's try it. Every door opens, every door closes. Every door opens, every door closes. And we are going from the min of -1 to... I don't like it. but it is a slightly different solution than what I just had up a moment ago. I was just goofing off. I was like, you know what? I should just add on and add a gradual switch. That will be a good way to end the video. Instead of everybody just opening their trapdoors we could just open them gradually. You know, maybe we could even add one that's noise based. You know, we did animated on the noise earlier, so what's our, you know, it'd be crazy is if we could put like 3 switches here, then we would have another one for noise. But should we add noise and just have it animatable? No, we should continue on with our original mission. I mean, who's animating their missile bay doors opening? All right, these are the questions we must ask ourselves before we fall into randomness. This might happen on a spaceship. Them opening like shutters in a hurricane, maybe not. So, all right, let's do a little bit more playing around, and then I can end the video, you know, just like victory lap, because this thing was totally a pain, totally a pain. In fact, I've decided to not ask any more questions because I am asking too many questions. I'm asking too many questions, and the responses are, well, you need to learn a little math. I'm like, to set up an origin, just to deal with origins, but really I want to deal with these origins. Like, I feel like there's a lot of fun that can be done with normals and origins and positions and stuff, like related to hard surface and kiosks and radios and, you know, all the assets. Like, you know, I want to do like a really crazy work to corner, but I feel like to really do it, I should really level up my understanding of notes. But, you know, I'm digging what I'm seeing here. Yeah, gradual is a banger. All right, and of course we can bring in any shape now, and this is just to set myself up for, actually, let's bring in the monkey. We could make the original shape the monkey. We'll just get rid of it in edit mode and just add a monkey. And let's just lower our subdivision. And yeah, we totally have the faces rotating up. I mean, right now it doesn't make sense. It's slightly dumb, but just the versatility of it. I'm just glad it's now accomplished, because I was looking at the previous video. I was like, oh man, I set this up only for the top face, and I thought, well, that's not going to work out in the long run. In fact, let's look at gradual with a lot more. I was hoping they'd do a little bit of a spiral over there. But yeah, we got the effect we're going for. In fact, we could even possibly make it go on different axes, but I don't think it's through this one. I am messing up this morning. All right, time to hit the bucks. All right, I was about to say I could sort the elements a different way, but inside of here they're already being dealt with on a face level, being turned into each of these little constructs, so we'd have to deal with it outside of it. So like right here, I'm just gonna, that's the end of the video. Why not? We're just having fun here. Okay, at first I was worried that it wasn't going to work out. I mean, sometimes I just get an idea and I just start executing, and then I realize I don't actually have the understanding of how to execute it. But hey, it's not the 90s anymore, but apparently they're going to try to bring that back again, right? So there we are, working on the Z. Axis is this? Okay, it is the Y. It just looked a little strange. And then we can of course change it to be the Z. So what if we wanted that on a switch? Man, can't put 3 on a switch, can we? I bet there's a way that this could be done. I just need to think about it for just a moment. I've seen this done. We could just connect it up to the input and make it a vector. I don't like that idea. But if we do that, then we should be able to just no, not gonna happen like that. Alright. Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Let me think about this again. Do we want axial control for this? Did I get off into a situation that I can't get myself out of? I guess we could put a couple of switches over here. So there's not a axial control where you could just click X, Y, and Z and it would just be like a switch. Alright, let's just do this too. I don't know why I'm trying to recycle nodes. Just be overthinking nodes. Alright, and that's just if graduals enable it, that these two even come into play. We switch it, and we get our intended result. We switch it again. We get our other intended result. In fact, switching these off. One switch should basically do it though. I don't know if I like that idea. But we will at least save this. I'll call this B, just because I don't want to mess up the original one. And I will at least wrap the video there for now. But I just want, you know, we should call this face flipper. Maybe with an A, slang style, you know, since this one's called face flipper, this one can be flipper. Alright, and with that, we can now finally wrap this up. So, you know, my next question though, is how can I roll this one, over this one, over this one, down this one, over this one, over this one, down this one, over this one, over this one, down this. That's the next question I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna be like, listen, we have to figure that out and make it digestible. I mean, this solution is almost simple, just not to me. In fact, I think I made it a little bit more complex, getting a little messy down here, but we won't talk about that. In the end, just a very simple graph. I will wrap up this video for now, and we'll see you guys next time. So I was looking at this in the end, and I was pondering. I was like, surely I can figure out a way to make them all fit under one parameter, and so I got like a really terrible idea. So let's delete these switches. I'm pretty sure I saved the file. We'll go to a map range, and we'll just map this from point maybe 0 to 0.3, and then we'll duplicate it. But let's build our assembly away from this, so that way we're not causing problems. So we'll create a second one. And we'll go from 0.3 to 0.6, and that will be this one. I don't even know if I should have them gradually go into each other. But yeah, I was just thinking in the end, as I was about to export the video, I was like, what if the solution was right in front of my face? And we go from 0.6 to 1. Alright, and how do we want this to work? We want these to all be adjusted by the same value. Wait. Dang it. Dang it, I should have thought about this. It ain't gonna work. It can't work. Wait. wait, I can make it work. I can make it work. Alright. Mix. Alright, and how do we set this up? Maybe something like... no, that doesn't make sense either. Alright, but if we put it there, alright, so we have it open gradually. But we do get that level of versatility. So maybe someone would want that. You know, they could come in from an angle, flipping them gates, about to launch every missile ever, because that's what's about to happen. Alright, so let's, or not, you know, world does happen to go on. Never ever gets nuked into oblivion, turns out. Let's see, if we mix the Z in here. And being able to tweak it in real time is also very nice to be able to see it rotate. So maybe something can be done with that. But then we still have another slider. And we want one slider to go between all three. I just don't know how to mix them. Maybe I have to give it more thought again. I didn't give it enough thought before. That was what it was. I'll look at all of my choices. Mixed value, mixed value, mixed value. Needs just one more. I saw nodes with more than one choice. I just can't remember them off the top of my head now. Oh, wait. Maybe we found our solution here. Alright. Every day I learn something. Alright. A, B, and Z. That's how I do my nodes, alright? Dang, getting beeped so hard. It's like 5 in the morning too, so when you get beeped hard at 5 in the morning, you know you done goofed. So it's good to see that Blender has solved this, and that I am merely just a big old dummy, alright? But these things happen. You know, I was just reading the comments in another tutorial, and they're like, if Blender doesn't make you feel like a dummy once a day, you're not using it right. It's like, dang. Blender needs to stop that. And let us connect our axis here. And we were able to find a satisfactory solution within 6 minutes. So, just a little bit of menu reading. Now, if you wanted to mix them together, then I'm going to have to tell you to leave, alright? I have to ask you to just go. Maybe we could also make this look a little bit better. I'm just wondering if we should let this be called menu. I'm getting pinged rather hard. Call it gradual axis. We could hide it. But the only reason we would need to hide it is if this was not enabled. I mean, Blender's not able to do that yet, is it? The condition for that is right here. And what does that feed into? Over here. It'd be crazy if we could actually make it a conditional to not exist in the event that it was not needed. But I think we at least accomplished our goals. So I should probably take a moment and reply to these messages. No, I won't. Sometimes I'll just ignore them because I gotta just keep working. You gotta just keep working. That's the secret of working. You gotta just keep on working. Not like I gotta respond to them. What if we wanted to also rotate the faces in the direction that they're being rotated, though? I mean, I was supposed to have ended this video, and that is us changing it here. What if we use the same switch? And by same switch, I mean we duplicate it out. We tear all of that off. I don't think this is going to work. Alright, I'm going to have to mute this application for a moment. Sorry, bro, you're killing me. Will this just work? No, this thing's like super mad. Let's undo that. And all we want to do is change this up. I'm just going to duplicate it, bring it over, and try to... Is there a way we could drop it without it actually connecting to anything? There's not a hotkey for that in Node Wrangler or anywhere. So we'll connect the X, the Y, the Z, and we'll connect this. I'm just looking at this wondering how this is going to work actually, because we bring this out and then we connect this here. Okay, no, it works. Once you put it in the right place, we put that there. We connect this one over here. And will they let me do that? No, they will not let me do that. They're like, what? No, you can't do that, bro. All I can say is, my bad, I'm sorry. Let's connect that to an input. Alright, so we're getting somewhere. And we'll just call this flip axis. And this is what I'm doing after all these videos. After every video, I'm spending hours and hours just you know, I forgot. I'm using lowercase letters because that's more stylish now. You know, we're in a dark universe, so that means that all the letters are lowercase now. All right. And we probably want to move this up. Because it's not related to gradual, it is related to angle. Which angle could also, you know, use a little lowercase lettering. Alright. So we have this. They're rotating, right? We change their axis. They're rotating on another axis. We turn off gradual. They're rotating all at once. You know, this is me selling you this. Hey, this is the new and improved flip faces. It flips twice as fast. Sorry, gotta throw an inappropriate joke. I was about to say it's your mom, but you know, you don't do that when you're selling a product. All right, so here we are flipping these faces, and they flip and they're gradual and it's beautiful. I could also add a material and get this thing rendering again, but you know what? 11 minutes. Thank you for your time, indulging me while we play with Face Flippa. Surely a topic that will be revisited as I find various solutions to approach this. Oh, I was about to say, oh, it's not working. about to keep me in the video just a little bit longer. But just like that, we have the intended result. In fact, before it ends, I was actually thinking about using this on something like a cylinder. I mean, obviously a cylinder stylized in a hard surface fashion. And then, you know, the faces would just be flipping up. In fact, let's get rid of, we got too many subdivisions. Also, this thing looks like a hat. All right, let's go up here and we'll just give this none. And let's do more side segments. So I'm already thinking of doing a version that is like those little flipping grates you see on dystopian sci-fi doors in the future. And then have those able to be opened gradually and randomly. But just like that, we now have them opening on the Z. In fact, we can have it on the X, but still on the Z, which I think gives an interesting look. And if we wanted to, we could animate the effect just going back and forth. I mean, easily. For that, I would, let's see, our angle goes between 0 and 1. I'm going to disconnect it, and we'll connect it to scene time. And we'll go with a math, and we'll plug up a sine. And now it should bounce between 0 and 1 forever, except it's not. It's bouncing between -1 and 1 forever, stopping at 0 sometimes. Well, stopping at 0 all the time. So let's use a map range, and I always call this the time machine because I'm just going from, now that I've seen so many sine waves in these math tutorials, I get it now. I'm like, oh, wow, it's the gateway drug into math, sine waves. All right. And what we want to do is have it stall a little bit. So let's give this a try. The suspense is killing me. Nope, that did not do it. From -1 to 1. And what we want it to do is to map that. Okay. And see, now it will sit. I hate that it takes a moment of thinking. Maybe it always will take a moment of thinking. I'm telling you, I make jokes that I have CTE, the thing that NFL players get. For the record, I don't have CTE because I was never sent in on the field. I was a bench warmer, which, you know, we're important, just not that important. Maybe not important at all. All right, let's do it on the X. Oh yeah. You see, in something more sci-fi, that would just look great. And I would want that happening, you know, on a piece of armor, but also happening, in this case, I need it to launch a bunch of missiles. So I will end this for now and jump on to the next part where I'll be talking about skeletons to fit inside. Or actually, probably the spherical example that I was showing off. Alright, so I had a conversation, and then I came back and started tracking the angle and was like, oh man, it doesn't work. And then I remembered that I plugged all this stuff up to it. So to make this work, I need to basically put a switch, because we can't just make this and then leave it, you know, animating and then broken. So, I mean, we can, but, you know, the node pulleys, just kidding. I don't even think this makes sense. do we want angle to mean also not angle? I mean, angle basically should always mean angle. You know what? We'll let Satan sort it out. Not endorsing Satan. That's a funny line to have to say in a video. Alright, so we are just... I don't even know why I came back to say cancelable lines again. Alright, so we want to name this animated. So if we check it, it's animated. If we don't check it, it's controlled by us. It would be nice if they allowed us to have conditionals. I do love seeing that. I would love seeing both of these have the exact same axes. I mean, surely. Look, I'm going to save the file just because this is a good place. I do like having the ability to manually use my hands, animate it, and the ability to just have it be animated on a modifier. I mean, that's a pretty cool modifier if you ask me. So, group input menu. I think they both can work. I think they both can work. You know what? We'll try it with a test one. That way we don't screw it up. This one's menu. It's called menu. We go in here. Ew, it's just called menu. Maybe we should actually give it a name. Alright, and this one is not even present. Alright, so we have it here. We have it connected in here into menu. So the one that we did not name, we probably want to call it axis just to be really specific about it. Always name your things or else you'll end up confused like me. Dun dun dun. Why does that not work? I feel like that should work. I feel like that should work. But it does not work. And that's the part that keeps getting me. So look, we connect everything back up. We have our axis be whatever we need it to be. That's our gradual axis on Z. As our axis on X, so we are back to working condition. Yeah, for some reason breaking into this thing is just hard. I mean, we have a menu right here connected to coming out, which we have connected to the gradual axis. And there's something menu undefined. We want to get rid of that. Alright. And yeah, I think I just confused myself looking at this thing. I just take the win. I guess, except that I do want this to work even when this is checked. Which almost doesn't even make sense, but I mean, otherwise, give me a conditional to get rid of it, you know? So I'm just staring at this, just thinking out loud. Sorry guys, this video's been long over. My cats are scratching on scratching posts and making noise, indicating I probably need to go look at their litter box. So with that, I finally do wrap this video.